octopus crying now. You are rousing my desire, honey. Don't rock it so, baby. Don't rock it. Don't rock it so. Don't rock it so. Ah, yeah. Day, 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 till I did.
Hey, check, check. 1, 2, hey, check, check, 1, 2. Hey, 1, 2, check, check, 1, 2, yeah, 2, 1, 2, hey, 2, here, 1, 2. Yeah, 1, 2, yeah. My little volume, yeah, 1, 2, 1, 2, yeah.
myself again in a few minutes. But thank you for coming, and thank you for being patient. I know that we are starting a tad bit late. If I can call all of those that will be front of podium to take their seats. Mr. Rennie, tonight is your night. And Mr. Leslie Figaro, if you can please come to the side of the stage. Trinidad All Stars members, if you can please take your places. And if I can please ask the members of Trinidad All Stars that are going to play our national anthem, if you could come front and center, please. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on sacred ground. If you can stand and let us sing our national anthem with our panis. I think you could do better than that for our panelists, Dean Galston and Nalo Eli. Nalo is the assistant director for the Junior Steel Orchestra. And if you can just bear with me for a few more minutes, we would like to say a word of prayer.
Good afternoon, all. Welcome, welcome, welcome to All Stars Dynasty. This is a sacred ground, as Stacey mentioned, that a lot of work, a lot of sacrifice have gone into being here after 89 years. This is All Stars Dynasty. While we know that Neville Jules and a lot of his other All-Stars, stars and legends was able to actually manage the territory over the years to be here, to allow us to be here, we want to really give him thanks. Let's just bow our heads and give God thanks. Lord, we want to thank you for allowing us not just to awake this morning, but allowing us to be present during the day and this evening session, Lord. You know you have a role for every single one of us and how it is we can contribute to the All Stars legacy. We have a role. Many hearts and minds over the years, over these 89 years, have made major contributions to get us to this place. Their families and their loved ones, I'm sure, would have sacrificed over the years. We want to thank you, Lord, and we want to thank you for blessing them. We are also asking you to bless the young and upcoming All-Stars as they will be taking the leadership, and some of them, like Eli, has done and will do, along with a lot of his colleagues and brothers and sisters, that allow them to have the coverage of you, Lord. Give them grace, give them love, and bless their families, and I dare say as young ones, their families to come. Bless them beforehand, Lord. Give them the guidance that we know that we could depend on you for. Lord, allow these proceedings to be well received. This is the All-Stars Day, the 21st of May, and it will be continuing ad infinitum. So we're hoping that we could actually be blessing everybody to see them back here. I just want to ask one more request, if we could just have a moment of silence for all the All-Stars greats who have passed and who I'm sure are looking over us to ensure that we continue this dynasty. Thank you, Lord. Bless each and every one of us, Lord, at the end of the proceedings to take us home safely to our families and look forward to another bright and prosperous new day for tomorrow. In God's grace we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Leslie. So for those of you that may not know, there is significance in our choosing May 21st. May 21st, had he been alive, would have been Neville Jules' 97th birthday. And amongst us tonight, we have two of his children, Cheryl and Annette. We're pleased to have you here. There's no amount of thanks that we could ever give to your father being part of our history, not just for the Pan fraternity, but for Trinidad and Tobago. So tonight, we celebrate Neville Jules, and we are doing that by launching our history book, Metal and Metal, the Birth of Steel Pan Music and the History of Trinidad All-Stars Steel Orchestra. So I'd like to welcome to the podium at this point in time our liaison with Massey. As you know, Massey is our sponsor, Miss Amanda McMillan.
A pleasant good evening to all. With all protocols observed, it is with great honor and gratitude that I stand before you today on this most memorable occasion. I would certainly like to address each and every one of you as Massey family, Massey Trinidad All-Stars family. Welcome. On behalf of the Massey Group and our CEO, Mr. David Afonso, who has a previous engagement and sends his heartfelt apologies, I warmly welcome you in my role as liaison to the group. To understand the reason for us being here today, I first need to take you back in time to the good old days, the year 1988 to be precise. In 1988, there occurred what I affectionately refer to as a marriage, a coming together of two unique and exceptional brands deeply rooted in discipline, dedication, and magnificence. The vows we exchange on that most memorable symbolize our commitment to each other and unified our promises towards achieving continuous growth, transparent financial transactions, honesty, integrity, and people development. Today, I can honestly say that these vows have not only stood the test of time, but epitomize the guiding principles that have shaped our long journey together. Our union has and continues to achieve an unmatched level of success and greatness that cannot be duplicated. Our commitment and shared values and service to our communities are the reasons why this relationship has worked so well over the decades. On another note, All Stars leaves no stone unturned in maintaining governance and financial accountability in its operations. A principal and prime example of this dedication and commitment to providing and ensuring financial security for each member is entitled to a retirement savings plan. And I must make mention to my left, which is to your right, the acquisition of the building adjoining us, which All Stars purchased, and it's all part of the Pan Theater. Can I get a round of applause for that? And I just want to stress the point, having a pension plan for members is financial security. So I need another round of applause for that. It must be noted that All Stars are not only trailblazers in this regard, but they uphold a sterling record and reputation as a world-renowned steel band orchestra. Responsibility is yet another massive value exhibited within the All Stars structure, together with self-sufficiency and autonomy, characteristics that can only survive and bear fruit within a space of trust and open communication. It is why we do not categorize our collaboration with the band as a sponsor, but truly as an investment in which we take with utmost pride. The massive value that is most treasured to my heart is love and care and respect. Never have I entered this Pan Theater, and experienced anything less than respect. Let's not take those behavioral traits for granted. Our journey towards supporting members and their families navigate through challenging times is done through a partnership and collaboration where we offer EAP services. This tool provides a safe psychological space. It is the key cornerstone of this union and the true trademark of a well-respected family that no one is left behind. And this is simply, ladies and gentlemen, our trademark of a well-rounded family. The sheer fact that we are here today celebrating yet another achievement, coupled with the invaluable contribution made by Mr. A. Bukareni, activist, columnist, historian, and writer, and son of the soil, fills our heart. So as we continue, and we have done in the last 30 years, Massey and Trinidad All Stars have been working together to help shape and create the cultural landscape of our nation through the musical art form, the steel pan. And we are so proud to witness yet another major milestone within the All Stars legacy. To know where you're going, you first need to appreciate where you've come from. And through this book launch, and together with the countless success of stories that have been told thus far, we are so proud of the All Stars brand and have our utmost trust and belief. As long as we move onward and upward to the moon, we would always celebrate among the stars, All Stars. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Amanda. You left some. And Amanda is right. One of the things that helps us grow from strength to strength is the confidence that we have begun to gain day after day in becoming financially viable. But one of the other things about Trinidad All Stars is that we are a family. We are a family where there are times for formalities, and we are a family when there are lots of times for peacock and laughter. But I would like to recognize amongst us today the Honorable Bridget Anisette George, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Senator the Honorable Alison West, Senator the Honorable Randall Mitchell, Professor Emeritus Clement Imber, His Worship Alderman Trina Allen, Mr. Eddie Hart, Mrs. Ramsey Moore, President of Pantrin Bago, Ms. Kiva Jacob Motley, newly appointed CEO of the National Carnival Commission, Ms. Desiree Myers, Chairman of the Northern Region, Mrs. Coyette Patton, Chairman of the Sports and Cultural Fund. These people are persons that support us each and every day. And I'd also like to make a special mention, and there will be special mentions, there are others that we are going to mention, but Anthony Hendrickson, all-rounder. For 50 years he has, and this is an important fact to note, our carnival bands are even older than the steel pan movement, and all-rounder with affection, I say to you and your family, thank you for always being a part. You have never disappointed us, and thank you for being here. And with that, it is also with immense pride that I say, Trinidad All Stars is one of inclusion. We are one of inclusion. Creed, race, religion, whether you are short, tall, on a spectrum, you are always welcome at Trinidad All Stars. And one of those people that have taught us the importance of respect day in and day out, along with his family, but he has earned his own right in this yard, is our Daniel Gulston. And I would like to have you hear how Daniel has developed as a panelist. Thank you, Daniel. So pre-COVID, I was given a manuscript to read. And I read that manuscript, Mr. Rennie. And I thought to myself, let me go to the National Archives just in case they ask me to speak about the book. Well, I wasn't asked to speak about the book. There's someone a little bit wiser and sounder than I am. And I would like to ask Professor Imber to come to the stage. Dr. Clement Imber is a professor emeritus of the Faculty of Engineering of the University of the West Indies. He's well known for his involvement and research of the steel pan and has written several scholarly articles on the instrument. In the early 1970s, he was a research assistant of Ron Dennis, a lecturer in the ULT Faculty of Engineering, who's reputed to have conducted the first university research project of the steel pan. In 1974, at the Caribbean Industrial Research Institute, Kariri, Professor Imber commissioned the first steel pan mechanized hydroforming press, working with legendary pan tuners such as Anthony Williams and Bertie Marshall. He commissioned a mold built by a patent maker in Birmingham, UK, which was used by Saab in Sweden in hydroforming the bowls of pans with notes of mild steel, stainless steel, and brass. He was a member of the Pan Trinbago Foundation Board, and in late 1990s, he's the co-founder of the UE Steel Pan Development Center and is a member of the team that developed the G-Pan, for which, in 2007, the team was awarded a Chaconia Medal Gold. He was on the board of Panam, Trinidad and Tobago, and chairman of the Standardization Committee for the Steel Pans of TTBS. He is the chairman of Birdsong, which comprises the Steel Orchestra and Music Academy and 2 companies. From 2004 to 2014, he coordinated a steel pan tuning program for high school students and teachers on behalf of Pans in Schools Coordinating Council, and he also coordinated a certificate in advanced steel pan tuning for the University of Trinidad and Tobago. He was co-chairman of the International Conference and Panorama in 2015, and since 2018, he has coordinated a journeyman program in steel pan tuning at MIC Institute of Technology. In August 2023, he was appointed Deputy Chairman of the National Steering Committee for the Development of the National Governance Framework for the Steel Pan Industry, and in September 2023, to the Stakeholders Committee on Geographical Indication of the Trinidad and Tobago Steel Pan. In September 2023, he was awarded the Order of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, the nation's highest honor for innovation, education, steel pan technology, culture, and the arts. Professor Imber, on behalf of Trinidad All-Stars Steel Orchestra, I would like to thank you for all that you have done in ensuring that panists and the associated professions have a chance in this world to be a professional. So thank you, and if you can join us at the podium, I would appreciate it.
Good evening. Sometimes when I hear these things, I don't believe it's me, but as Chokdas would tell you, I'm down here long. And once you're down here long, you do a lot of things if you want to. I'm truly honored to have been asked to say a few words about this book, about Trinidad All-Stars. This book is not just about All-Stars, but the origin of pan and much more. Other than seeing Cordette's practice in Chowlinon's bakery, that's Chinese Laundry's grandparents, my first real introduction to pan was at the age of 15 when a few of us in the neighborhood in San Grande, where I live, decided to hire a tuner, a fellow by the sobriquet of Scorpion from Aruca, to tune 2 tenors, a single second, a single guitar and a duduk. I played the guitar. But I was always fascinated by the science of the instrument, as you can see from the bio, and the development of the instrument, as you can see from the bio that was just read. Booker Rennie, the author, was described by all kinds of things in the introduction. I won't repeat them here. And he left Trinidad in 1967 to Montreal, Canada. The same year, Ellie went to the United States. Booker went to Sir George Williams, now Concordia University, where he was jailed, expelled, and deported as a result of the 1969 student protests, whereby students, black and white, occupied the 9th floor of the computer lab of the main building of Concordia to protest how complaints of racism made by black and Caribbean students had been mishandled and allegations dismissed. Actually, the supervisor of my PhD research was on the same floor of Concordia where I had an office space and from where the computer reels were thrown in the 1969 student protests. I was always reminded of this fact several times at my time in Montreal. Booker said that he never wanted to go to university again. Obviously, he didn't have to, as he has written the equivalent of at least 2 PhD theses, a remarkable treatise of extensive research and intellectual tour de force. He also serves up some philosophical musings in the book, Social, Political, and Cultural, as is his wont, including the lament of so many of the loss of the People's Carnival to commercialization, to the West, to the middle class, to the so-called Bikini and Beads Brigade. Booker also mentions so many names in the book, some of which I knew well, and this might surprise some people. Some of which I knew well. People like the Roaring Lion, who I got to know very well, Dr. Rat, who I used to meet in Samaroos when I went to buy my stuff because I played mass for several years, military mass with Highlanders. Percival Bain, who owned the steel mill where I did some training. Ziggy Lee, who I met several times, including in England. George Goddard, Ellie Manette, who I actually persuaded to come to Trinidad to receive an honorary doctorate from UWI. Joe Pringue from San Grande, who used to visit my father all the time and who defended him several times in court. And Mastife from Tunapuna, with whom I played a lot of billiards in Paul's club in Tunapuna when I was a student. There are many other guys that I know. If I tell you the number of Bajans I knew because of playing billiards, you would be surprised. How does one distill, condense such a heavy tome of over 400 pages and more in the few minutes I have? And I was warned by this young lady, where is she? Yeah, she's watching me, she said. But I can't see her because of the bright light. That's good. He has dedicated this book to Neville Jules, whose disregard he hopes will not be repeated. Booker cites the slightings of Jules and All Stars in so many ways, to put it lightly, starting with the recognition of Spree Simon as tuning the first span with several notes and the first to play a melody, Mary Had a Little Lamb, when in fact several tunes were played by Neville Jules and All Stars before. Jules was a complete pan man, musician, player, tuner, arranger, leader. I knew Neville Jules, I didn't tell you that earlier on, from Maple Leaf Club, where I often played billiards, at which I was a champ. I was a billiard champ, believe it or not. He was a man obviously revered by all, but who didn't speak much. I guess he didn't have to. When I say I knew him, I mean I saw him in the club. I never really befriended him. But let's get to the beginning of this marvelous instrument. With the banning of the skin drums in 1884, the people used bamboo, from which you got the term bamboo, where tambour really comes from the French tambour, which means drum. At the turn of the last century, metal containers, dustbin covers, etc., were found to be more suited to the rhythmic movement of the masqueraders. Metal containers started to be played at that time. And in 1935, a band, USS Bad Behavior Sailor Band, led by Herbert Sajiko Drayton, considered the first All-Stars captain, 1935, so next year there will be 90, and was accompanied by persons beating pans. But this was discontinued. However, soon after, Heliard became the place where pans were used exclusively, no more bamboo. Development took place quietly during the war, the Second World War that is, and in 1945, rudimentary tuned pans emerged from Jules. Too many pans to mention. Both Jules and Andrew de Labastide said that de Labastide actually sold a 4-note pan to Spree Simon, who is erroneously credited as the inventor. Jules was. Prince Batten was the 6th captain in 1949, and the band became all-stars from names like Heliard, Second Fizzle, Cross of Lorraine, and was even registered once as Fisheye Band. Actually, it is Trinidad All-Stars Philharmonic Orchestra. Then came Cap himself, forever the Cap, Neville Jules. He was the 7th captain, 1950 to 71, when he migrated. He and Prince Batson instilled strict discipline and fairness. To the credit of the band and a sense of history of purpose, the original flag and bell remain still used today. Some say Batson brought an Orisha bell that mount. I don't know how much people know about mount, but mount means that you say some kind of funny prayers over the thing. Like they say stick men used to mount their stick, put it in the cemetery for a week and so on. These times were tough, but Jules and Batson led by example, sharing whatever they had, and the women always chipped in by cooking, with the breadfruit tree providing much needed sustenance. Steel band men were considered riffraff and hounded by the police, but that didn't daunt their spirit and their playing of the instrument. Jules was under constant threat from the police and used several aliases. Many of you would know the line of the Calypso Outcast by Sparrow. If your sister talk to a steel band man, your family want to break she hand, put she out, lick out every teeth in she mouth. I was about to sing it, but I won't try. All-rounder is in the audience and he gonna laugh at me. In 1949, a committee was formed to deal with the issue of violence among steel band men, chaired by Canon Farquhar. One recommendation was the formation of a steel band association, and that happened with Sidney Gallup as president, Natty Critchlow as vice president, and George Goddard, who became president for a long time, as assistant secretary, among others. All-Stars were mainly, but not totally, out of the violent clashes of steel band men. Their whole demeanor was above that. And in any case, the band was protected by men in the band who were feared, with some appearances at times by Joe Pringle, who wasn't easy himself, and Mastiff, who again wasn't easy. But it was expected that all would defend their comrades and the band. Big Head Hamill, the 4th captain of All Stars, said, once you come in Heliard, any size you are, you had to learn to fight. All Stars was distrustful of the committee's purpose and stayed aloof, a decision in hindsight that was injudicious. The association progressed, and in addition to TASPO, which showcased steel band internationally, the Steel Band Festival was an outcome. All Stars was not part of the association, so Jules was not chosen, unfortunately, for the Passport Tour of Britain in 1951. There's no doubt that All-Stars has many firsts. In addition to all the pans that Jules invented, he and All-Stars were the first person and band to play with two sticks. Jules invented so many pans, and he was the first also to wrap rubber around the tip of the sticks. Actually, it is because of the fraying of the ends, but serendipitously creating a better sound. Tribute is paid to other inventors like Elliot Manet in the book, Anthony Williams, Fillmore Boots, Davidson, Bertie Marshall, Rudolph Charles, Wallace Austin, and Lad Wilshire, who tuned the first 45-gallon drum played by Cyril Scratcher Guy at Monarch Cinema in Tunapuna. Booker, you made a mistake in the book. One of the few, probably the only one. You forgot people like Brian Copeland and Clement Embera regarding the G-pan in your list of inventors. But we forgive you. And unlike me, you can't remember to mention everybody. If I were to mention everybody in the book, we'll have a second speech tomorrow night. Other firsts included skin drums like bongos and congas, use of a conductor, the first to play its own tune, East Dry River, composed by Jules, and the first band to be recorded, which took place in 1940 by Decca Records, but was never released. Jules was so hurt by the judging of the 1952 and 54 festivals that All Stars boycotted competition from 54 to 64. And however, when Southern beat All Stars in the 1954 Music Festival, All Stars protected the band by surrounding them to leave Port of Spain safely from some gamblers from Port of Spain who had lost money on All Stars. Once again, as in so many times, the training of professionalism and grace of Jules and the band was manifested. In 1957, Jules recorded a 78 LP rhythm a la oil drum, showcasing Jules' soloing ability and his playing with a small All-Stars ensemble. All-Stars played at the grand opening of the Trinidad Hilton in '62, and thereafter the band was contracted for 6 years until indiscipline among some members and the contract was terminated. When Jules migrated in 1951, after 21 years at the helm, and even before that, the central figure of the band, Hamilton Webb Alexander, was made captain until 1977. Booker in 1972 wrote a poem that was awarded first prize in the UNESCO-sponsored National Cultural Council Literary Competition. In this long poem, he salutes the so-called carnival mentality, showing how Pan can make a prime minister get up and dance, make a man cry, or make a big man like Eddie Hart pelt away his sticks and swear never to play again. As you know, Eddie Hart, for almost 20 years, played the double second until his league took him away a bit. But he still played the iron every year that he could. This term carnival mentality was derogatorily coined by Lee Kuan Yew, former Prime Minister of Singapore. But Booker implies that if we show the same industry, the carnival industry and creativity all year round, we would strive even better. The bomb, how did it start? Crossfire from the west, St. James, came gunning for All Stars, rocking with a pulsating rendition of Another Night Like This, and met All Stars at the corner of Prince and Charlotte. That Monday morning, March the 4th, 1957, the famous policewoman Jessica Smith ordered All Stars to backtrack on Prince Street, so All Stars complied and stopped playing. That magnanimous concession by All Stars triggered bad mouthing and bragging by Crossfire supporters, including the famous Jazzy Pantin of Calypso 10 fame, that Crossfire put All Stars on the run. Jules couldn't take that. And in 1958, the year after, when he dropped the bomb, Minuet in G major, all talk done. In 1959 and thereafter, All Stars dropped not one, but 3 bombs from classical composers mainly, and a light classical, Blue Moon from Rodgers and Hart. But it was Jules' arrangement of Anniversary Waltz in 1960 that really shook the place. All Stars used to practice their bomb tunes secretly, playing softly with their fingers in the Maple Leaf Club in sections, so that only when the bomb dropped, all the members played together in unison, and they still dominated. On Tuesday night, All Stars serenaded the police at their headquarters when Dr. Williams came to hear the band, and sent drinks and cigarettes for the band in a police vehicle. The same police that used to harass them. Other bands also gathered there to entertain the crowds, but also to try to cut All Stars' ass. When Pascal Mano Charles died in 1959, it was said that Jules cried openly for his best friend. This was the same Mano that he threatened to expel from the band because Mano wanted to leave a practice in the garage. But that was his friend. They taught Guyana and mashed down the place in Guyana. Literally mashed down the place. The crowd swarmed the stage and mashed it down. Mano's funeral, whose expenses were paid for by All Stars, was attended by many All Stars members playing their instruments. Another first, the first funeral to be known to be accompanied by pants. All Stars re-entered competition in 1965, but Guinness swept the tongue that year, just swept the tongue. Alain Jouvet, the man who tuned those sweet pans, was contacted by Jules. Jules actually went down there and actually asked him to tune a few pans. And this really shows the magnanimity of Jules, that he was not a selfish person, selfishly hoarding our knowledge, but wanted to see the progress of the instrument. The band also had a 2-year contract to play at Perseverance Hall and Casuals Club, but I don't think the guys were very happy. They found it was a little too bouge in those 2 clubs. But that same year, 1968, saw the sponsorship by Catelli, brokered by Peter Pitts. The band had to get a dedicated musical director, and that is where Fitzroy Jerry Jemmott, Uncle Jem, came in. He introduced so many things, including special playing techniques and exercises, including physical fitness. He simplified musical notation. He spotted talent and nurtured it to its full potential. He and Jules really meshed. Jules migrated in 1971, and when Jules gone, Gemma tried his hand at Panorama, but his classical interpretation did not sit well. So Rudy Wells arranged Panorama tunes in 73, 74, and 75, winning All Stars' first Panorama in 1973. After the 73 Carnival, All Stars recorded an album which introduced Smooth, not Lennox, man. I know the man so well. Leon Smooth Edwards, Professor Edwards, as arranger in 1974. They have a Jambi on the stage. A pan Jambi. And the year 1974 was the first classical Jules concert at Queen's Hall, where Uncle Jem was really in his milieu. This created a sensation shown at All Stars, the all-rounder par excellence, all-rounder the Calypsonian and Garfield Sobers. Sorry, but All Stars is a big all-rounder really that we're talking about here. showed that they could shine no matter what in different genres. There were several conductors after Jamat, culminating with Dr. Mia Gormandi Benjamin, current musical director in Classical Jules, 12 in 2019, and lastly 13 in 2022. The series is expected to ignite the nation in 2025, the 90th anniversary of the founding of All Stars. The era of Smooth in Panorama started off with his hesitance. He didn't want to arrange alone, and there was also resistance from the older players. But Uncle Jem and the executives stood by him and his comrades, and he eventually emerged the hero he is today. This is an interesting story. Preparing several tunes for the carnival season with the revival of Pan and Frets, he had Woman on the Bass as one of the party tunes, but not for Panorama, as it was thought that either his Sparrow or Kitchener tune stood the best chance. But the youths in the band loved it and outvoted the others, even Smooth himself, that day. I don't have to tell you what happened with Woman on the Bass, composed by my good friend Erwin Reyes, the Scrunter, who lived not too far from me in San Grande, and who always referred to me as Red Man. The tune is considered by many to be the most popular pan tune ever worldwide, but Smooth had to leave for America with his wife in 1980 and was brought back for 2 weeks or so to arrange in 81, 82, and 83, but later that year he returned. Now, after several attempts and appeals, Heliard, number 46 Duke Street, was handed to All Stars by the state in 1980 and went through over time the administrative processes and registration of a cooperative to move to more robust administrative and financial accounting, to group insurance, and as you heard earlier on, to a pension plan, and the acquisition of nearby properties, including breaking down the illegal wall of an intransient company nearby. There were also structural and other changes, constitutional and otherwise. One such was playing pairs who practiced but were not selected, for example, to go on tour, but using them for any playouts at home at which they excelled, such that one player remarked that the B-side had become better than the A-side, the touring side. So what exists today as the Trinidad All-Stars Panyard, the Pan Theatre, replete with paved grounds, as well as a 2-story administrative center, outfitted with office space, practice area, and a merchandise shop, and other businesses for people, took the energies and efforts of all the executive members and the broad membership from as early as the 70s to the present. All Stars was given the wrong test piece score for Pan is Beautiful 4 in 1984, only corrected 2 days before. And having won 2 of 3, the Best Tune of Choice and Best Calypso, still came second. Just another of the All Stars slights. But at the Toronto Music Festival in July of that year, Sir Paul Hill flew in from London to guest conduct a few pieces for All Stars, and was amazed by these so-called amateurs who he said was as professional and proficient as they come. The split in 1988 had its genesis in 1996 when ironically All Stars won Panorama with the hammer. There were several reasons. Almost finished. She coming closer. She coming closer. Smooth and his request for better compensation for the arranger on par with prevailing market things, which Catelli simply could not afford, resulted in their the termination of their 20-year sponsorship. It was left to Beresford Hunt, appointed captain in 1987, to rebuild, for which he was complimented by Uncle Jem 10 years later in his second stint as captain. Fortunately, Nilamachi, much better resourced than Catelli, with which several members had employment, came on board as a sponsor, and the rest is history. Hunt was reappointed in 1995 until 2006, making him the longest-serving captain after Jules, who reigned for 21 years. Nigel Williams, long-standing treasurer, became captain in 2016 and is so today. The groundswell for the return of Smoot was too great to be ignored, and he returned after he had a dream where somebody told him that if you don't use it, you will lose it. And he arranged from 1998 to 2008 when he returned for good. For the next Panorama seasons, they had more wins, second places, and third places combined than anybody else. Unlike when he gave in to the band's choice of woman on the bass, he stuck to his guns with Large is Large, his own composition, as opposed to DeFosto's Smooth Sailing, the band's overwhelming choice, and came third in 2010. But in 2011, the band and Arranger were in sync with Showtime and won Panorama, and All Stars' 8th Panorama win came in 2012, the year after. All Stars was on a roll and played all over the world. All Stars continued to absorb all kinds of hurts with grace, including expulsion from Champs in Steel Plus when they were the People's Choice in 2013, an accolade they received on many occasions, even prompting Arnim Smith, a bigwig in Pantrinbago, to remark when the People's Choice was reintroduced in 2006 that all you look like all you want to give All Stars money again. Just 1.5 page left, my lady. 1.5 page. Now, I had about 25 pages. Booker gave me a fat book so to read about, I don't know, a month or more ago. And every week he'd call me, he'd say, Prof, you reading the book? And I would lie and say, yes, Booker, I'm reading the book. But it was Friday morning that my wife said, I thought you're supposed to read that book and give some kind of synopsis of it on Tuesday night. I say, you're right, you know. So I was supposed to suspend everything I did, and on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I read the book and made copious notes. But I had a lot of meetings yesterday. So when I came home last night, I put all the notes together, and it's only today at 1:30 that I put them in some kind of sequence. I had to cut out so many things, my dear lady. Miss Patrick, I had to cut out so many things that if I didn't, you wouldn't just sit down there, you would have dragged me off the stage. In 2014, All Stars won Band of the Year by playing serious mass on both Monday and Tuesday, following the rules as opposed to the so-called big bands was always downplayed Monday mass, coming out in jeans and t-shirt, and on Tuesday coming out in a fancy costume, especially the bikini and beads with all them nice brown-skinned women whining all over the place. And again, me to go closer and closer to the TV. And in 2015, they won a national panorama and international panorama. And as you heard, I was the co-chairman of that with a fella called Keith Diaz. Actually, I turned out to be the kind of chairman, you know, because many people weren't doing what they were supposed to do. They come there to eat our food. But listen, don't say I say that. I didn't eat no food. I refuse any compensation. But don't tell anybody I say that. You know them pan my now, they will bust my head outside. All Stars has been consistently the largest steel band, mass band, although, you know, in the 60s, people like Syncopators, Desperados, Invaders, Silver Stars, and other were kind of bigger at one time or the other. But All Stars is an all-year, all-round, all-year band, not only a panorama band, a mass band. and has kept the tradition of mass as a handmaiden of Pan. After the great success of 2015, the band kind of relaxed and to no one's surprise placed sixth in 2016. But they rebounded to win in 2017, placing fifth in 18, third in 2019, tied for second with Renegades in 220, fifth in 23, and tied for first with Renegades this year. This success in many spheres has been due to so many persons responsible for this. It would take too long to list all the people that were mentioned in the book. Some persons have been mentioned, and there are so many others, such as Dr. Leroy Bolden, John Poison Douglas, captain in 1983 to 87, Clive Telemack, master player, composer, and arranger, Mr. Showtime himself, Dane Gulston, Mr. Showtime himself, Lennox Alain, Popplewell, Johan, Beckett, Rhoda, St. Clair, and so many others. Too many to list. Last paragraph. Last paragraph. Booker and others have recognized that disciplined, intelligent leadership with vision and teamwork as the hallmark of consistent achievement in all spheres, including more overall success in all forms of competition and other forms of enterprise. But above all, there is the underlying commitment to the legacy of Helyard, which Booker asserts should be considered with the honor of a UNESCO heritage site. The minister, you're hearing that, right? So you had to go back to New York with the president for something else, right? The UNESCO heritage site. I saw you all a picture of both of you all in New York climbing, you know. There isn't much more that can be said. As the saying goes, and this lady will be glad to hear that, I don't talk. Thanks.
Sometimes things are lengthy and it seems as if it may never stop. And then when it's just about to stop, you wish you knew more. So you can well see why the foundation Trinidad All-Star Steel Orchestra has a huge responsibility. And with responsibility comes action. We are the keepers of our heritage. In 2023, we started the academy under our artistic director, Dr. Mia Gormandy. And the academy caters for young persons and for adults to come into our yard and learn how to play the steel pan. And that is an important thing for us going forward, because we must not succumb to the crime that people want us to succumb to. One of the things that was started in 2015 under Kygel Benjamin and Jason Stumps Lewis, as well as Nigel Williams, was our junior band who won the Junior Panorama title in 2020. And I'd like for them to play for you now. Thank you. This year, Trinidad All Stars has launched Metal and Metal, and I know that A. Bukarani has a call that he would like himself to publicly make. And I think that there's no need for me to go into any introduction because all of our speakers before spoke so highly of him. So as he comes to the podium to make his call, I will let you know as he walks to the podium that Trinidad All Stars' dream is to own from the corner of Duke Street to this building. And between 2017 and now, I'm telling you now that we purchased the corner property. We also own a property on the left-hand side of the street. And in 2025, we are going to launch our own jewelry line. And so it is important that this call is made by Booker because Trinidad All Stars is here to stay.
All protocols. My task is very simple. I want to read what I wrote in the book about the demand to get All Stars Yard be recognized as an international heritage site. And this is how I stated that. All Stars visited Guyana in 1952, and all the reports indicate that All Stars took Guyana by storm. And today, the same can be said about other parts of the modern world when first visited with the spirit of Pan that we call Pan Jumbi. According to Leroy Ali Williams, another one of those modern tuners who live in the USA and whose life has been transformed by engagement with Pan, he says it is not merely, quote, the instrument of the 20th century, it's the instrument of civilization. It is not an ordinary instrument, it is a medium that can accomplish any number of ends. In fact, the very word Pan means all-embracing, universal, relating to the whole of any kind, genus, or type. And fortuitously, the instrument so named reflects by its very shape and function that very meaning of the word. The reality is that this musical phenomenon called Pan, which had its birth in Heliard out of the imagination, intelligence, and ingenuity of Neville Jules, is today our gift that has been bestowed onto the world. In commemoration of all that has been advanced above, it is time that both the inventor and the place of invention be duly honored in value and consideration, commensurate with the level of importance and significance of this wonder of the world. To this end, it is proposed that Heliard All Stars Panyard, prime downtown property, portions of which were purchased outright, utilizing funds from the winnings over the years, be transformed into the Neville Jules Center for Social Change, and that this Panyard be declared an international heritage site. There are 6 basic criteria outlined by UNESCO that forms the basis for the declaration of heritage sites. 1, the site being considered must represent or reflect a masterpiece of human creative ingenious. 2, the site must exhibit an important interchange of human values over a span of time or within a cultural area of the world. 3, the site must bear a unique or exceptional testimony to a cultural tradition or to a civilization which is living or which has disappeared. 4, the site must, by its history, illustrate a significant stage in human history. 5, the site must be an outstanding example of human interaction with the environment, especially where the site is vulnerable to irreversible change. 6, the site must be directly associated with events or living traditions, with ideas, beliefs, and with artistic and literary works of outstanding universal significance. The narrative of Heliard fits the criteria outlined. From the latest data in 1997 on poverty, prepared by the Central Statistical Office of Trinidad and Tobago, 65% of the households of East Port-of-Spain exist below the poverty level. The unemployment rate therein was put at 31%. Given that the subsequent national economic recovery of the mid-1980s was largely generated in the energy sector, which is high skill intensive, suggests that this recovery would have very little impact on the socio-economic realities of East Port-of-Spain. The fact that the level of crime, the level of economic despair, and the extent of single female-headed households continue to rise in East Port-of-Spain is testimony that the situation needs to be addressed urgently and directly and not merely by state welfareism. The Neville Jules Center for Social Change has been conceptualized in all its component parts to be a self-sustaining center for the development and social transformation of East Port-of-Spain and environs, from which the large majority of All Stars members, supporters, and well-wishers emanate. Already the people of the area utilize All Stars Yard in a crude and rudimentary way to satisfy their needs, whether it is sport, musical pleasure, musical tutoring, remedial reading, computer training and welding, also for social engagement such as weddings and even funerals. The aim is to have full community participation as the key critical underpinning for the transformation of the community into a sustainable one. Already too, All Stars has included a community relations officer within its present executive structure, whose portfolio is geared to maintain the active participation of the community in all the activities of the band. In addition, since September 14, 1989, the Trinidad All-Stars Steel Orchestra Cooperative Society Limited was duly registered and approved by the then Commissioner for Cooperative Development, with the stated main objective being, quote, to encourage the spirit and practice of thrift, self-help, and economic cooperation among members, and to promote the development of cooperative ideas by educating members in cooperative principles and practice, and by affiliated or collaborated with any other cooperative societies or organizations. Though the Cooperative Society Limited was dormant for quite some time, it was rekindled recently as the necessity to purchase nearby properties demanded. In this regard, the original individuals who championed the cause of the All Stars Cooperative Society must be identified. Red Collins, Chris Haynes, Glenda Esdell, Keith Grip Matthews, Beresford Hunt, and Nigel Williams. On the overall, the collective assets of both the Trinidad All-Stars Steel Orchestra and the Trinidad All-Stars Cooperative Society Limited, per se, total well over many millions, and the growth is quite steady. End of.
Booker, we are indebted to you for putting our history in writing. There's no amount of thanks that we will ever be able to give you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please give a resounding round of applause for someone who put the history of Trinidad All-Stars in writing. There were many people that, unfortunately, are unable to be with us here today. One of them is Leon Smooth Edwards. He is out of the country and he has sent his congratulations. Another would have been former Minister Joan Yule Williams. She said to tell you that she is so proud that you did what you've done, and she is also, Mr. Williams, as our captain, she asks that you know that she is proud of what Trinidad All-Stars continues to do and will continue to do in the future. And in that vein, I'd like to invite the current president of Pan Trinbago, Ms. Beverly Ramsey Moore, who is known throughout our country as an advocate for our instrument, and under whose reign we now have our instrument world recognized by the United Nations. Ms. Beverly Ramsey Moore.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I know that the protocol has already been established, and I would like to follow that. Nevertheless, there are some people that I would like to recognize at this moment. We have with us our line minister, Senator the Honorable Randall Mitchell, Minister of Tourism, Culture and the Arts. I'd like to recognize you. I also understand that we have the representative for South Port of Spain. Am I correct? Mr. Keith Scotland. I would like to recognize him. And I also understand we have in our presence the Speaker of the House, Mrs. Bridget Anisette George, who is a serious steel pan enthusiast and is always around. Let me acknowledge you. I also see one of All-Stars' living legend, Eddie Hart. And we have some steel band leaders. Desiree Myers is present. She is the chairman of the Northern Region of Pan Trinbago. I acknowledge you, Madam Desiree Myers. And our new CEO of NCC, I acknowledge you, Mrs. Kiba. Am I putting a handle to your name? I hope not. All right. Jacob Motley. This evening, I am extremely pleased and very happy to be here. And let me say, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is an immense pleasure and a profound honor to stand before you on this special occasion as we celebrate the 89th anniversary of the Trinidad All-Star Steel Orchestra and All-Stars Day. Let us give them a round of applause. I always like to visit the Trinidad All-Star Spaniard. Trinidad All-Star Spaniard is life itself. When you enter, the first set of people you see in this All-Stars family, you see the matriarchs and you see the patriarchs. The seniors, the All-Stars Seniors Foundation. And you know for a fact that where you see a number of senior citizens and a number of young people, when you get down into the womb of the orchestra, you know that this Spaniard is full of life. And as such, we continue to say, All Stars is spirit, and All Stars will never die. Tonight we gather not only to honor the legacy of a remarkable steel band, but also to pay tribute to the spirit of unity, creativity, and resilience that the Trinidad All-Stars embodies. Their journey is nothing short of extraordinary. The Trinidad All-Stars Orchestra is more than just a band. It is a cultural institution and a beacon of excellence in our nation's rich musical heritage. For decades, the Trinidad All-Stars have captivated audiences with their unparalleled performances, innovation, and commitment to the art of the steel pan. The journey has been one of dedication, hard work, and an unyielding passion for music, making them a cornerstone of Trinidad and Tobago's cultural identity. As we join the band in celebration of its 89th anniversary, we remember and honor the late Captain Neville Jules, who was born on this very day in 1927. Neville Jules was not only a visionary and arranger, but also the originator of the bomb tune, a genre that added a new dimension to our steel band performances. Many of you are familiar with the Neville Jules bomb competition, which Pan Trinbago would have, of course, introduced for Carnival 2024. His contributions include the development of the guitar and bass bands, and have left an indelible mark on the evolution of the steel orchestra. His legacy continues to inspire and guide us. Today, as we gather at Trinidad All-Star Spaniard, we are not just celebrating the past, but also looking forward to a future filled with promise and potential. The watchwords of discipline, dedication, and magnificence have been the foundation of the Trinidad All-Star Steel Orchestra and its continued success, guiding every member through decades of musical excellence. At this time, I wish to congratulate A. Bucareni on the launch of Metal and Metal, the birthplace of the steel pan. As president of Pan Trinbago, when I reflect on the numerous achievements, including multiple panorama titles and accolades of Trinidad All-Star Steel Orchestra, I am filled with immense pride and gratitude. Tasso's story is one of resilience, creativity, and community, spreading the vibrant culture of Trinidad and Tobago's steel band movement across the globe. To all band members and loyal supporters gathered here tonight, your unwavering support has been the backbone of this extraordinary journey. It is your enthusiasm and commitment that have fueled the All-Stars' success and sustained their legacy. You stood by them through every note, every rhythm, and every performance, ensuring that the band, the sweet sound of the steel pan, continues to echo, not only across our island, but the world. I wish to personally congratulate you on your efforts. And we know the pride that you feel when you wear a Massey All-Stars jersey. It is an immense pride. It is one that every person likes to at least identify with a steel band. You're bad and you're big and you're bad out there to talk about panorama. When All-Stars, you know, when it's panorama time and they're doing the draw for playing positions, Pan Trinbago always says a prayer that bands like All Stars pull 10, 8, or 9. Because when Massey finished playing, or one of the other bands around this area, the entire Savannah walks out. That's not good. That's not good at all. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to each one of you for your dedication and love for the steel band movement. Let us continue to support and cherish our steel orchestras, ensuring the legacy of the Trinidad All-Stars and all our beloved bands endures for generations to come. Here's to the Trinidad All-Stars Steel Orchestra on their anniversary and to this All-Stars Day. I am going to cut short this speech because I know when you are in a panyard, Minister, you could attest to that. People don't want to hear too much talking. They want to hear music. So with that, let me say, Trinidad All-Stars, may God continue to bless you. May you grow from strength to strength. Your watchwords of discipline, dedication, and magnificence as we move forward together. Here's to many more years of harmony, innovation, and triumph. May God continue to bless you, and may we move on from strength to strength. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Ramsey Moore. Tonight, as we celebrate Neville Jules, I would like to make a public announcement that his children, Cheryl Jules, Annette Bess, Jackie Jules, Beverly Jules, Gail Jules, and Keith Ferguson have committed that every year they will make a donation to the Academy that will allow for the payment of at least one tutor for as long as they can. And with that, I would like to, and if you would like to make a contribution, there's a contribution box somewhere. You can drop your contribution in there. But what we would like most for you to do is join our Facebook and Instagram pages. Please tell people the work that we're doing so that we can continue to be successful. Booker, can you join me on stage, as I know that we have some books that you'd like to give out? The first person, as Booker comes to the stage, I would like to invite Neville Jules' grandson and daughter. I think I'm looking at you. No? Yes. And Dr. Mia Gormandy, our artistic director, will also support the giving out of the books. Okay, maybe they are somewhere where they can't hear me. And in that regard, I'd like to please invite Avalon Dugan, who is a representative of the National Archives, to receive a book from Trinidad All-Stars. Ah, how are you? And here's Neville Jules, grandson and daughter. Ladies and gentlemen, this is history in front of you. Ms. Dugan, representative for National Archives. There's a lady amongst us called Kay Christopher. Her father was Bolo Christopher, and he did the first recording of Trinidad All-Stars on Nelson Street. Miss Christopher? And I want to say this to you, when they asked All-Stars to come to do the recording, it was about 6 or 7 people, and the story is in the book. But would you believe that the payment received for that recording was $5? And I'd now like to invite Ms. Jasmine Simmons, the Nallis Director of the Heritage Library. Our wish is that there is a copy of this book in every library going forward. Ms. Simmons, I know that is well within your remit. As you know, Trinidad All-Stars had many names before the name that we carry today. And the person that we attribute our name to today is a gentleman called Vats Rudder. His granddaughter, Olafemi, is amongst us somewhere. Olafemi? And great-grandson? Trinidad All-Stars is a band of families. We have grandparents, their children, and their children's children playing amongst us. And now we're into the fourth generation of what began with Captain Big Head Hamill. So I'd like to invite Patricia Thomas, her daughter, and her granddaughter to come to the stage to collect their book. Ladies and gentlemen, let us give applause for families. This is 4 generations of Panis. Charmaine Hunt to receive a book on behalf of her brother, Beresford Hunt. Without Barry, another stalwart that laid many a foundation for us. Please keep him and his health in your prayers. There are many people behind the writer of the book, and one of those persons is Beulah Dalrymple. She was responsible for doing all the recordings of the interviews that Booker would have done through the years. Ms. Dalrymple? Here she is. To sit and listen to history, word for word, that is a privilege indeed, and we're thankful that you were able to capture it for us. Also, our 8th captain, the person who was responsible for bringing Leon Smooth Edwards to our doorstep, Hamilton Webb Alexander. Errol Collins, our 9th captain. Can someone confirm if Errol Collins is here? Okay, I would also like to call to the podium the Honorable Bridget Anisette George. She has supported us time and time again. She was one of the persons when we renamed the junction of George and Duke Street to the Neville Jules Junction. Miss Beverly Ramsey Moore. There are 2 senators that are incredibly important to our future. Senator the Honorable Alison West and Senator the Honorable Randall Mitchell. We look to you for guidance. We look to you for being our advocates and for us one day being able to say that panelists can be professionals and have a career all of their own. Please join us at the podium. The National Carnival Commission has grown from strength to strength. There is a carnival in every month, possibly every week around the world. And we now look to Ms. Kiba Jacob Motley to continue to ensure that our name is heard far and wide. And I'd like to invite Mr. Edward Hart to the podium. I'm going to ask Eddie to do a special something for us. Eddie Hart has taught the men of Trinidad All Stars what being a gentleman is about. It is for his role modeling that we are, our men, are people that other people look up to. But tonight, I would like to ask him to present Booker Rennie with a token of our thanks.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairman, for your kind words of introduction. All protocols observed. And I'm elated and excited about this book because it was long in coming. So I'm happy that the books are here now. I joined the band in 1995. Are you listening? This year, I am celebrating 65 years as a member of All Stars. Yeah. And 65 years is not 65 days. Of course, I was very fortunate when I went in to join the band. I met this great leader, one of the greatest leaders of all time, Mr. Neville Jules. And they sat around a poker table and asked me several questions. I was very nervous at the time. The first question was, why you want to join the band? I said, well, I love the music, and I had some friends in the city Sun Valley, and the band has crashed, and some of the members are over here. So I would like to be here. So I said, that Sunday night, I was asked several questions, and then I was told, we have 3 rules, and we want to know if you are in favor of those 3 rules. I said, yes, sir, because I was frightened. Eh? Said, the first rule is that we have 3 classical pieces that we learn on our fingers. And if you know any, don't even tell your mother. You agree to that? Say, yes, sir. These 3 pieces we're talking about were heavy classics. We're talking about Inner Persian Market, Musetta's Molson, Baccarol, you know, and too many others to mention at this point in time. And we had, after the screening, they said, well, the second rule was, don't let us see you buy any other paniard when they're practicing. Say, okay, you agree? And the last rule, first year players not getting any pay. Do you agree? I said, yes, sir. Took out my $5 and I gave it to them. Didn't have an idea. Knowing at that time, it's one of the wisest decisions I have made in my life to be a member of All Stars. 64 years in the garret, it was music and music and music. Neville Jules never made joke with his music. He was a man of a few words. And if we the younger ones up in the garret having a little fun, as soon as Neville appeared, that's it. That's it. Everybody sober up. Remember in those days, we will have to reach for Juve at 2 o'clock to see people running in from all directions to get up into the garret at 2 o'clock with a big pan of coffee boiling. You come with an old dress 2 o'clock, you must be there, regardless of who you are. After that, people would leave all the different fests and come on Charlotte Street. Hundreds of people on Charlotte Street waiting for All Stars to come out. Right. When we did come out, number one, he never gave us the names of the tunes. Number one, now this is the first time we hear this music. Number two, number three, and we going down Charlotte Street. The only time we came back in, there was a tune in a Persian market, and it gave a little trouble on the road. All the others were smooth sailing. Yeah. Well, we'll come in, and we'll have lunch. Imagine that, we'll have lunch. After lunch, we'll get back out, go back on the road, and then we'll come in for tea. Think about it. We had tea. And then, Tuesday night, we would leave and head to police headquarters to serenade the commissioner of police and the policemen for the work that they did. So, All Stars was really, really a trendsetter and inspiration. 89 years? Great. And I really want us to make another 89. Yes. And we could do it. We have the things in place to do it. Yes, we will do it. Leon Smooth Edwards is not here now. He's abroad or something. But I want to say, in his absence, we had the 24 large bands finals at the Queen's Park Savannah. A lot of talk was going on backward and forward with the different bands, who will win and who will not win. We batted at number 10. We went into bat at number 10 with Olatunji's tune, Inventor, and Professor Leon Edwards opened his broad shoulders and hit sixes. Opened his broad shoulders and hit sixes. Of course, we were clear-cut winners. Yeah. So, having said that, my friend all-rounder, always have it on the jumper, All Stars forever. He has been doing that for over 50 years now. And I'm joining with him, All Stars forever. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for the courtesy of your attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to close, and with that, I would like to invite our captain and our operations manager, Mr. Nigel Williams, our operations manager, Mr. Keith Grip Matthews, to close our proceedings today. Please stay back because both our junior and senior bands will be playing, and our bar and tanties open for your money. So, thank you very much. I enjoyed being your host.
Pleasant evening again, and thanks for being here. On behalf of Massey Trinidad All-Stars Steel Orchestra, we would like to express our sincere gratitude and appreciation to everyone who contributed to this wonderful day, Trinidad All-Stars Day. Your support and involvement have made this event truly memorable and impactful After 89 years, we have so much to be thankful for and so many persons to thank. I would like to raise a special thank you to the person who initiated this history book, Mr. Beresford Hunt. It all started with Mr. Beresford Hunt asking Mr. Rennie to author our history. One group of persons we have to thank also is behind every successful steel orchestra, you will find a community. We are no different. We are from Dry River, we are from East Port of Spain, East Dry River, and we are proud. So we would like to thank George Street, Duke Street, Mango Rose, Duncan Street, all of our surroundings. We are who we are, and we love who we are. So thank you to the community. Not yet.
We are proud to be standing here this evening on the shoulders of those who went before us. Walter Sagieta Drayton, our first captain. Edward Raymond. Hamilton Bighead Alexander. Rudolph Fisheye Oliveri. Prince Batson, Neville Jules, Hamilton Webb Alexander, Errol Reds Collins, John Poison Douglas, Beresford Manage Hunt, and our current leader, Mr. Nigel Williams. We also pride ourselves on those who would have set the stage for our performances, our musical directors, Mr. Fitzgerald, Uncle Jerry Gemot, Miss Jillian Nathaniel Balantulo, Mr. Nelson Villafana, our homegrown Mr. Derek Nurse, and our current musical and artistic director, Mrs. Mia Gormandi Benjamin. We also want to thank our rangers over the years, starting with Mr. Neville Jules, Mr. Rudy Wells, the maestro himself, Mr. Leon Smooth Edwards, Mr. Anthony Shorty Guerra, Mr. Eddie Qualis, and Mr. Johan Popwell. They all would have arranged for us over the years.
Another important group, 5 o'clock in the morning, after a hard session, panorama practice, when you look around, you still have people in the panyard listening to us, supporting us, regardless. Win, lose, or draw, our supporters, we cannot do it without you. So we say thank you. Our greatest resource, our membership. Again, without our members, we are nothing. We depend on our members to be here every single day. It's such a sacrifice to be here every single day without any substantial financial reward, because we do it as a labor of love. I trust that Mrs. Ramsey Moore will, assist in changing that. But again, thank you to all of our members, stateside, panorama, roadside. Thank you to our membership.
To our partners in business, starting with Catelli and the Handanol Group back in 1968, when we were known as the Macaroni Band. Not the boiled macaroni, the raw macaroni. We were a little harder then. And then we move on in 1988 to Neil and Massey, which turned into Massey, for their tremendous support and contribution towards all that we will have been able to achieve in our 89 years of existence. We want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And for all of you who take time from your schedule to be here with us this afternoon, for the events team who put this event together, the author of the book, Mr. Bukareni, for all our supporters, our chief supporter, Ms. Bridget and Mrs. George, and all the stakeholders, the members of our senior foundation, as Nigel would have said earlier, the people who are here with us every single day, whether it is Panorama, Pan Point 14, Pan on the Avenue, Tobago Carnival, that's just a reminder, Mrs. Ramsey Moore. Whatever event, who are here with us every day, doing the work behind the scenes to ensure that the legacy continues. We just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you safe passage home. But before you do that, please take the time to listen to the music, because it is, at the end of the day, the music is why we are here. So enjoy the music and safe journey home. Take care.
And this is where I check in. Good evening, good evening, good evening. And we are at All Stars Pan Yard, Pan Theater. In fact, I call it different now. Establishment, business place. Very, very impressive. And yes, I'm Kenny Phillips. I'm here. And we just heard from the junior band, All Stars Junior Band. And we are with the setup of the senior band. How's everybody going? How's things out there in, well, like I say, radio land, in internet land, in all the lands? Everybody having a good time? Ah, boy. Plenty people online. How you all doing? Michael Smith, how are you? I like how you're staying in your lane. You're doing well. Hi, everyone. So we are with the big band, the big side. We've been here all evening. We were really scheduled to do an hour and a half, but pan is pan. Carries over my shoulder. He wants to go home, but the other way to the pan. You understand? So I'd like to thank all of you for being here. Those of you on YouTube, those of you on Facebook, on WACK.tv, on Twitch, on Zeno Radio, TuneIn Radio, all the platforms that we're on. We thank you for being here. The big band is setting up. I think I have a lot of pictures going on and stuff right now. So the big band is setting up. We can take in a little music until the heavy hitters, the joint co-champions of 2024, Massey Trinidad All Stars, and we congratulate them on, what do you call this, Neil and Massey All Stars Day. Where the flyer, boy? Let me see what the flyer say. Tasso, boy. And the launch of the book, Metal and Metal, the Birth of Steel. Some steel pan music, and the history of Trinidad All Stars by Booker Rennie. And also it's the birthday of Neville Jules. So there's a lot of things to celebrate, not to separate, but celebrate. And yes, we are with the big band, so let's take some big music.
and a oil long. Most likely I'm in disguise. 3B1. Now I wanna get on mad. 2. Now I wanna jam in the center. 3. Girl, away your penalty back. 4. I wanna jam on your bumper. When I get this feeling is cause trouble. Hey, let me start the bacchanal. Cock up your foot, put your 2 hand on your head. We come out here ready to run it red. I drunk with pride and I don't want to see no bed. Nobody can tell me to stop. Hey girlfriend, go down in the center. 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 Man, it's such a lovely feeling. I wanna jump and touch the ceiling. Tell them we not living, no, we not living. Man, for their information, we not causing no destruction. Tell them we not living, no. Because I was high. Yeah, man, so high off the music. I was feeling high. Tell them we not living high. How you feeling high? Just so high off the music. I'm gonna remember what I done in about the next 2 days. I'm gonna remember the 2 days. If I did you wrong, please excuse me rudely. Yeah, man. I can remember if I wine on your family. Yeah, remember. And if I did well, please all you try and pardon me. Because I was high. I'm feeling high. Man, I'm feeling high. How you feeling high? Yeah. So high off the music. I was feeling high.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the stage side that all other stage sides measure themselves by. Trinidad All-Stars Steel Orchestra, all year round stage side. They are the reason that we are.
right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. And I'm sure that this day cannot end. Well, they shouldn't end without playing the test piece. Call the manager and tell him. I'm just calling the manager to tell him what the band going off the stage without playing the test piece. Is that possible? Anyhow, we had a wonderful time tonight. What an event. What a celebration. What legacy. So if you had a good time, just, hey, hit the thumbs up and say, hey, this was cool. This was nice. We working here, give you a little credit now. We working here and thing. You know what I'm saying? Give you a little thumbs up. You can have all 300 people and 17 likes. Yeah. Then what are you doing here? You know what I'm saying? So anyhow, that's me just teasing you all, before you go and complain to the boss that I teased you. Ladies and gentlemen, we had a good time. I am not seeing the band coming back on stage to play the song, so I guess they say all you have to pay for Woman on the Bass, so pay for it. So thank you so much for staying with us. It was an event that should have been brought to you, and we have it here. It's on YouTube, etc. You can always tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. My name is Kenny Phillips. It was lovely being here in the cool breeze of All Stars Yard. Really nice surroundings, beautiful surroundings. But it's better to be heading for home. So on that note, we say good evening. Good evening, good evening, good evening. And we turn you back over to the studio at 129C Coffee Street, San Fernando.